got my drink. Hello. Really? You kidding me? Got some books here that I particularly like. All of the books in some way relate to or are about plants and magic or herbalism. So these are some of my personal favourites that kind of tell stories around plants, how to work with, learn from, or relate to plants, I suppose. There's a lot of different books here, but I find them all very interesting for different reasons. So I really hope you enjoy this video, and let me know if you do in the section down below with the words, comments, yeah. So yeah, these first three books are great for beginners in general. So you probably heard of The Green Witch by Aaron Murphy Hiscock, and yeah, it's called The Complete Guide to the Natural Magic of Herbs, Flowers, Essential Oils and More. The Green Witch gives a very simple overview of green witchcraft and how to incorporate plants into your life. I'd only really recommend it if you're very new to learning about plant magic or any earth-based spirituality really. I found the book to be rather repetitive, and it does not go in depth as much as I'd have hoped, and I still had to research so much more while I was reading it. There are, however, some very lovely little recipes and practical parts to it that I really enjoyed, but mostly it's just a fun and general exploration of green witchcraft. Then the second one I've got is The Earth Path by Starhawk. Dun, 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 dun. The Earth Path would be my go-to recommendation if you're looking into connecting to your local landscape, gardening, cycles of the seasons, and especially if you're looking for some ways of weaving spiritual practice and activism together. There's some very practical parts to this book, from grounding practices, connecting to the elements, to even compost spells for your garden. And I really love that this is rooted in the cyclical nature of life and death, as well as science and politics, rather than a more sort of abstract way of connecting to nature. And yeah, it's very sort of grounded in activism as well. So definitely recommend this book. And then lastly, I've got Earth Wisdom by Glennie Kindred, a heartwarming mixture of the spiritual, the practical and the proactive. Dun. Earth Wisdom teaches a lot about trees and their folklore, their uses and magic surrounding them, as well as how to kind of celebrate seasonal change in community or by yourself. What I really enjoyed about this book is that I just find myself picking it up to get inspired and ways to kind of celebrate the cycles of the year, or if I'm looking for any specific information on trees. So yeah, this is a really lovely book, and it has some incredible illustrations in it as well, so definitely recommend this one. So I didn't mention the Hedge Witch earlier, but I did want to briefly recommend it. If you're into Wicca in particular, it's great to find out more about the Sabbats and how you can celebrate them as a solitary Wiccan. But I personally found it generalised way too widely, and originally I picked it up thinking it was going to be more about witchcraft rather than the Wiccan path. But it's actually just kind of like a bunch of written letters teaching the basics of solitary Wicca really and witchcraft, and I found it a little bit dull in places, but really do like sort of the inspiration it gives and ways to celebrate the cycles of the year. So yeah, just wanted to quickly mention this book too. So now to the more practical books that kind of deal with more specific plant things. So the first one I've got is called Discovering the Folklore of Plants by Margaret Baker. Discovering the Folklore of Plants is quite a joy to explore. It's got some great information on superstitions, uses and stories about plants, and overall it's kind of just like a great pocketbook source to research or get to know plants a little better based on their plant lore and stories, and uses. So this is a lovely little book. Then I've got Cunningham's. So then I've got Cunningham's. I've got Scott Cunningham's book, Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. I kind of like find it hard to pronounce this word. Encyclopedia. I don't know.
So this book is really helpful for doing any type of spell work or learning about plant associations, uses, and there's also some kind of folklore in it as well, similar to the Folklore of Plants. I definitely recommend this as a type of herbal dictionary or something like that when you're working with plants and you're kind of wanting to find out more about their associations and how you can incorporate them in maybe a spell or anything similar to that.
Yeah, so those two books were quite similar to each other. I've got one that's sort of similar but not quite. It's very tree specific because it's called Celtic Tree Magic by Danu Forest.
The Celtic Tree Magic book is really lovely. If you're interested in trees or the this book really has a lot of great information from the botany to the folklore and the magical uses. It really goes in depth and has a lot of good resources to explore further in your own time. So yeah, if you're looking to kind of do some sort of tree divination or just in general learn a bit more about trees, definitely recommend this one.
And now lastly, two books that I love very much. I guess they're more herbalism, perhaps, but they go beyond the use of plants, so yeah. Anyway, they're both by the same author and illustrator. Boom, boom. First one's called Weeds in the Heart, and the other one is called Intuitive Herbalism, both by Nathanial, Hughes, and Fiona Owen.
Intuitive Herbalism is a great pocket book to learn about how you can connect to plants beyond their uses and communicate and meet a plant as it is and kind of learn from it. It's a really interesting, lovely book, and it has incredible illustrations, so that's a great reason to pick this up. Similarly, Weeds in the Heart looks at specific plants and then explores them, their uses, their magical properties, and anything really you could think of. And again, it has some wonderful illustrations.
Those were all the books that I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself on this little book journey. Sorry if I pronounced anything weirdly. I do that. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're going to read any of them, what your thoughts were on them. Do you disagree, agree? Are you curious about something? I almost dropped my book there. And yeah, I hope you have a very lovely, wonderful day today or night.